Hello chess enthusiasts, Sasonic here. I got a couple of pretty high-end chess boards and sets out there, as you can see. When I was shopping for these, I couldn't find a whole lot of reviews that gave me satisfactory information and visuals to help me shop for these. So now that I've gotten a couple of pretty good setups here, I thought I would share my thoughts, and it may help some other people who are as interested in chess as I am. So I'm going to talk about the boards first, go over the measurements, and then we will get into the pieces. So first off, the board on the left, I got this from the chessstore.com. It's the walnut and maple veneer, 21-inch board, 2¼ inch squares. We'll verify that in a second. The board arrived mostly in good shape, but there was one blemish, which I may be nitpicking here, but these kind of things really annoy me. That there is it's not a chip, it's part of the wood is just discolored. And sometimes when you get wood products, you don't get something perfect, but when I'm shopping for a high-end item like this, I kind of expect perfection. If I didn't really care, I would buy a chess set from Target or Walmart. So in my opinion, that is a blemish, and when there's just one, it really kind of ruins the continuity, kind of similar to having a burned pixel on an HD TV. When I know it's there, call me OCD if you want, but that kind of thing irritates me. So I actually called them about it. They said if I mail it back, they'll send me a new one and they'll make sure that they quality check it and there won't be any blemishes on it. So the board over here on the right is from wholesalechess.com. This board, pretty much the same dimensions. There's a slight difference. I'll show you in a second. It's supposed to be the same color. It is walnut and maple, although that one says maple veneer. I'm not sure if there's a difference. The one on the left from the chessstore.com is a little richer looking, especially the lighter color squares. I think they're a little richer looking. These are a little lighter, so I do like the light squares better on this one. But then again, that may not be a reflection on the actual company, because you never know what sheet of wood the craftsman is using. I mean, sometimes this could be vice versa, so you can't say for sure. But on the particular two that I got, I like the squares a little better on this one. That's from the chessstore.com. Now the rest of the board from wholesalechess.com, the rest of this board I would say is a better made and better looking board. It has a thicker black border. Take a look at that. And compared to this kind of feeble looking thin border, and here I can get them both in the shot here. You can see the difference there and there. Much nicer, just kind of frames the actual playing space better. Take a look. Also, we've got a beveled edge here on this one. Colored black, gives a little more contrast. Border's a little nicer. Here we just have plain wood. There's nothing special there. One other important point, the bottom of this one from wholesalechess.com has a felt. You're gonna have to trust me on that, because I would have to lift the whole board and take the pieces off. Maybe if I go under the table, you can see that the color is black there. There's a black felt under it. This one does not have a felt. So it's just a little nicer to place, and it moves a little bit better and grips a little better actually with the felt. So all things considered, the board on the right I would say is the better board. They're both 21 inches. Make sure it's as advertised, 21 inches, 2¼ inch squares, correct? Take a look. Now there is a small discrepancy here. As you can see, This one has 2.25 inch squares. However, the first square is not quite 2.25 inch because of that black border. So it is hardly noticeable, but if I put those in frame, you can see the right there on the outer edge, the H file, the square is a little thinner. Now that really doesn't bother me much. It's not as big a deal as having, you know, something like that on the board. This is just, it's fine with me. I prefer to have that thicker border. Although if they wanted to do it a little better, this border could have started a little outside and have that square complete. So these are all minor details. A lot of people don't care about these kind of things, but some people do. So I might as well point out everything, okay? The prices. The board on the left from thechessstore.com, $79.99 for just the board. Cheaper if you get it in a combo. Board on the right, $99.99 from wholesale-chess.com. So if you want me to give my opinion on which board to buy, I would go with this one. Spend the extra 20 bucks. It's just a nicer looking board. And, you know, it's not a landslide, but there's just a little more detail, nicer framing, edges, and the felt on the bottom. So if I had to choose, I would go with this one. All right. Now for the pieces here on the left, I also got from, I got these from a site. It was just called The Chess Piece. That's the name of the site. These pieces are gold and bronze lacquered. Now, one other thing, this is kind of important when shopping for this kind of stuff. Don't expect what you're buying to look exactly like the photos you see on the website, because if you understand photography, they set up the lights perfect, and sometimes with wood or with paint, you may not get the same color every time. And also in post-production, in programs like Adobe Photoshop, they mess with the contrast a lot. They want things to pop more. So these pieces don't look exactly like they did in the photograph. They were a little more reddish. I thought they had a little more pop to them. Not that they're dull, but they're not quite as nice as what I saw in the picture. The gold, maybe they're pretty similar, but definitely the copper pieces, the bronze pieces, they looked a little better in the photos, but still overall pretty nice. I did get a bishop that was chipped right here. If you can see, there is a chip right there on that bishop, which I'm, like I said, I'm OCD. I'm not happy about that. There should be a touch-up paint step after they dip these. That's just attention to detail, not good workmanship. I'm going to see if they'll send me a new bishop. There was a tiny flaw on the king too, if you can see right there, right over here. That one is more negligible, but this chip on the bishop, get this focused. That's that shouldn't be there, that chip right there. Overall though, the set looks pretty nice. Over here, this is the Fierce Knight set. Now there's another YouTube user, Brian in a Hat, that did a pretty comprehensive review of these. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'll contrast these a little bit. One thing about the Fierce Knight set is the pawns are taller than this set over here. And sometimes people don't like that because if the pawns are too prominent, they sort of shadow the other pieces a little. See, they're almost as tall as some of the minor pieces and can kind of shadow them, whereas over here, the more important pieces tower over the pawns. And you can see the top of the pawns a little bit different there. Longer neck. Okay, let's move on to the bishops. Let's compare these. Different style. And again, people have different preferences. You know, you like Coke, I like Pepsi. It's hard to say which one is definitively better. Let's take a look at the knights here. Very important piece when measuring the quality of a set. Here's the Fierce Knight. And side by side. Okay. I'll take a couple of the darker pieces here too, so you can see the difference. The king is considerably wider on this set from the chess piece. The base is only slightly larger though. And then let's take a look at the rooks here. You can see this kind of easier on the lighter rook. I do like the style of this rook better. The neck or the shaft part to me is a nicer shape than this one. Take a look at that. It's kind of like goes inward, sort of rounded and swooping. This one's a little more formidable in design. You don't have that swooping shape right there. And then a higher tower there too on this one. All right. You can take a look at some of the weights here. This is set to grams here. I know most people measure in ounces. You'll have to do the conversions yourself. The king over here, 60 grams. These are not as heavy as the Fierce Knight, mostly. 74 grams here. But surprisingly, some of the pieces are heavier. It's not very consistent. 49 grams on the Fierce Knight. Over here on this set, 54 grams. So the queen is actually heavier. Let's check out the rook. 34 grams. $39 grams. So by and large, the Fierce Knight pieces are heavier and they feel a little bit nicer to play. I would say the workmanship is a little bit higher, a little bit better on these Fierce Knight pieces. In a way, these are kind of just typical wood pieces that have been glorified with this lacquering effect. But still, some people may like that glossiness and the pop. I mean, these pieces do look nice and shiny. They have a cool look to them. And that's another thing. I don't want all my sets to look the same. Just kind of add something different when you play pieces that look a little bit different. So I'll take some more. By the way, they both came with extra queens. And one thing I should point out is I didn't particularly like the way these ones arrived. I'll get into that in a minute. The chessstore.com, I ordered this box with them too. So the pieces came in here. Those are the extra queens that it came with. Now, these ones from the Chess Piece website, they came individually wrapped, and they had like a bubble wrap around them, and there was string tied extremely tight around each piece. It was very tedious to separate the string from the pieces. It took like a full half an hour to get all the pieces out, to free them from this packaging. And it was actually pretty annoying because the string was wound so tight that I had to get a scissor under the string, but do it in a way that it wouldn't chip the piece. So it was a very tedious process. It was extremely annoying. And then a few of the pieces were not wrapped that way. which I don't understand that at all. So these arrived in at least a more sensible way. But I mean, that's a little thing. I mean, once they're out of the box, then, you know, that's what really matters. So I'm going to take some more screenshots, show you some more detail of everything. And there's not a whole lot much more to say, so I'll just let you guys soak in the details of the boards and the pieces. And if you guys have any questions or want to comment or talk, we can do that. I'm also on ShredderChess.com. I have an account under Sasonic, so if anybody wants to play, you can challenge me to a game. Get one more shot of everything back here. Okay, that is all. Please go ahead and comment. Hello, chess enthusiasts. Sasonic here. I got a couple of pretty high-end chess boards and sets out there, as you can see. When I was shopping for these, I couldn't find a whole lot of reviews that gave me satisfactory information and visuals to help me shop for these. So now that I've gotten a couple of pretty good setups here, I thought I would share my thoughts, and it may help some other people who are as interested in chess as I am. So I'm going to talk about the boards first, go over the measurements, and then we will get into the pieces. So first off, the board on the left, I got this from the chessstore.com. It's the walnut and maple veneer. 21-inch board, 2 1/4-inch squares. We'll verify that in a second. The board arrived mostly in good shape, but there was one blemish, which I may be nitpicking here, but these kind of things really annoy me. That there is it's not a chip, it's part of the wood is just discolored. And sometimes when you get wood products, you don't get something perfect. But when I'm shopping for a high-end item like this, I kind of expect perfection. If I didn't really care, I would buy a chess set from Target or Walmart.